Hey, everybody. Just got finished watching the trophy presentation. Um, like many of you guys out there, speechless doesn't even do it justice. It's one of those matches that will go down as one of the greatest matches ever played, one of the most important matches ever played. Um, you know, Now I think you have got to say that Rafa's the GOAT, number 21. Rafa, Novak, Federer, they all have so many different types of accomplishments that you could make an argument that they're the GOAT, but many people have said for a long time that the crowning accomplishment is who is going to end up with the most Grand Slam titles. And right now, Rafael Nadal is standing at the mountaintop alone with number 21. And he did it in a way that really was just the definition of who he is. That match was just defined Rafael Nadal. If you want to know what Rafael Nadal is all about, you just watch that match. And that was his entire career. Just summed up in that match, winning against all odds, never giving up, trying your absolute best, no matter what the score is, fighting till the last point, trying a bunch of different strategies. Rafa, the first set, to me, when I was watching the first set, I'm thinking, this Medvedev, and I still think this Medvedev is something else, otherworldly. His play is beyond words, and I was thinking, this is the new guy. This is it, because I watched Novak try everything. Now, of course, I thought Novak was pretty nervous in that match against Medvedev when he was trying to win the Grand Slam last year, but I did think, wow, look at Djokovic. Normally somebody that is very comfortable going toe-to-toe with people in rallies and would love to be in longer rallies, would love to be in longer matches, and looks very uncomfortable and doesn't seem to have an answer for Daniel Medvedev. And the first set started out just like that for Rafa, to where Rafa, I thought, played well the first set. And I just thought, this is just it. This is the new deal. Because now Rafa is now throwing everything but the kitchen sink, I thought, at Medvedev, and Medvedev seemed to have an answer. A lot of things I thought would take Medvedev through the match were working like a charm the first set. Rafa would try and hit that big forehand to Danielle and as backhand, and it didn't seem to be bothering him. Both McEnroe brothers. This is B2, by the way. He wants to congratulate Rafa Nadal on becoming the official GOAT from one beast master to the next. Mr. B2 says, congratulations, Rafa. But yeah, it just seemed that no matter what Rafa was trying in the first set, just didn't work. And I thought that this is just the way this guy is. Where can you win points off of him? And Rafa was having a really tough time. So then you start to see Rafa change up tactics, and it slowly started to work to where he was able to bring the match even. And they just went back and forth in the second set. Rafa started to go to the slice backhand, which was effective, which I thought could have helped him, and it did. Rafa started to also implement the drop shot. Rafa started to come to net a little bit more, hit a little bit more inside-out forehands than he's used to, occasionally serving volleying. This started to slowly work Rafa into the match, and they fought tooth and nail in the second set, and then boom, again, disappointment sets in, and now Medvedev's up 2-0. Now you're thinking, okay, the first set, it looked like Rafa was outclassed. The second set, it looked like Medvedev just a little more mentally tough in the big moments, because Rafa had his chances in that second set. Maybe you could argue should have won that second set, falls short. So now you're thinking, okay, what's Rafa going to do now? And I think even at one point, I think Patrick McEnroe said, okay, now Rafa is done. I think he actually said that. Like it's all, I think the words were Patrick said, which you can't blame him, although you should never say it about Rafa. He said, it's all but over now. That's what he said early in the third set, because it looked like Rafa was running out of steam. It looked like he tried to throw everything he could at him in that second set. Didn't work. Now all of a sudden, what's he going to do? Keeps fighting, keeps fighting. Never seen a match with so many long games. Have you? I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there's been other matches, but even again, the commentators, the McEnroe brothers are saying, it's amazing. It's amazing how many points, I mean, how many games are going 5, 6, 8, 10 minutes at plus games. The average duration of Nadal's serve games were over 5 minutes. So, I mean, it just had so many plot twists and turns. Just when you thought one person would give up, the other person fought back. Absolute classic. I mean, one of the best matches. That's the way you really. I mean, for Rafa to win this match the way he did, being in one of the best matches of all time, to claim GOAT, you've got to give him the crown. The way that he worked his way in this match, from being down and out and then pulling it out, and then just an all-out dogfight to the very end. The match had everything. Both players had plenty of chances. If anything, it looked like Rafa got Medvedev a little more tired. One thing that was working in the first set is Medvedev had the spring in his steps to be able to get to the out wide, big buggy whip forehands to Medvedev's backhand. He was roping him up the line. As the match went on, you saw more and more that Medvedev, when he ran outside to hit that backhand up the line, he was hitting it long. He was hitting in the net. And that was just nothing more than Rafa taking out his legs. But, one thing you can do is you can take out Rafa's legs. You can take out Medvedev's legs, but you cannot take their heart away. Just incredible, incredible tennis. I'm going to pull out some of your comments. Yep, here we go. Again, another reason. I guess if there's any argument that some people might make against Rafa, hey, he's just so great on clay. What about the rest? Now he's won at least 2 on every surface. So he's got the Nadal double career slam plus 21 majors, sitting all by himself. Look at this. Asterisks without Djokovic, stinks for tennis, but exciting times ahead. I hear what you're saying. It is tough that Djokovic is not there to defend his title on his best surface. This is his Roland Garros. Make no mistake about it. The Australian Open is owned by Novak Djokovic, but with Novak not there, and this is why I called Rafa a couple weeks ago. You can look, after Rafa's first round win, I picked Rafa to win. Now, my last live stream, I actually picked Medvedev to win because I just thought, when you look at the court, and this is just a credit to Rafa figuring it out and his grit, it's just the testament to Rafa's will. Because really, guys, when you look at the court, Medvedev versus Nadal, and you start to just do X's and O's, you're thinking, man, Medvedev just seems like he's going to have an advantage. He's got a bigger serve. He can handle high Rafa forehands, so he can clobber that backhand up the line. He moves just as well, if not better at this stage in his career than Rafa. But Rafa just shows those intangibles. The heart, the will is just unmatched. I don't think we should put an asterisk by this victory or take anything away. This is Rafa's moment, and he is the GOAT. Here's one thing. Our Roland Garros coming up 21 and loading, so yeah, that's the thing. The momentum in tennis, it's amazing how things can change. Of course, there is politics involved and a pandemic involved, and that we don't know when Novak is going to play again to be able to defend and try and now catch up to Rafa. But now the tour is looking very much in Rafa's, the world is your oyster, Rafa. You've got 21. Now you're going to your home court. It is literally his home court, that French Open. He's got 13 of those. If he wins, he'll have 14 French Opens, which again makes his legacy grow even more. And he'll have 22, a 2 Grand Slam cushion over Roger and Novak. And really, it's just over Novak because, I love it, but I don't see Roger winning another one. Let's see here. Choke job by Medvedev. I don't know if that's a choke job, guys. I really don't know if you can call that a choke job. Look, when you watch them, it's so easy to blame somebody. When you watch that match, that was 2 just warriors going all out against each other. Ask Rafa if he thought that Medvedev choked the match away after 5 hours and 30 minutes. This is one of those matches where I just don't think you take credit away from either player. You give credit to both players. You thank both players for giving 110%, no matter what the score was, no matter how tired they were. They kept stepping up to the line and delivering amazing tennis. So, Daniel Medvedev should not feel bad about himself at all. He should hold his head high and realize this is the thing that I'm thinking about Medvedev. And he just, again, reaffirmed my feeling. I have not seen anybody mentally and just the will to win be close to Roger, Rafa, and Novak. And Medvedev is right there mentally. He is right there. Okay, he can go toe-to-toe with anybody upstairs, and he is just an amazing competitor. And so it was just an unbelievable match, and new history written in the game. Give Rafa all the credit, but you knew he wasn't going to give up, but he was out on his feet. Yeah, he was out of it. I mean, it really is astonishing that he was able to come back and win today. I mean, how great Rafa is. I mean, we all know how great Rafa is. But when you looked at the first set, I mean, be honest, guys, when you looked at the first set, didn't you think, okay, look what Medvedev did to Djokovic at the U.S. Open. I know Djokovic didn't play his best match by any means, but, I thought that Medvedev had a lot to do with that Djokovic was looking for spots on the court that he just couldn't find. And everything he tried, Medvedev had an answer for. And it started out the same exact way at this Australian Open where Nadal, I don't think he played a bad first set. And the effort was there and the energy was there. But it was one of those things where every time Nadal tried something, Medvedev was fresh and he had an answer. But the longer you're out there with Rafa, the longer he can keep you out there, and he keeps working different tactics, and he attacks your legs. He wore Medvedev down. Medvedev never gave up. Medvedev always kept stepping up to the line. It was a dogfight to the very, very last point. But Rafa, 35-year-old Rafa, was still able to wear and take out Medvedev's legs enough to where shots that he was making in the first set, he wasn't making anymore. And that was a huge difference in the match, that a lot of shots that he was able to hit winners on, he was hitting into the net. He was hitting long, or he just wasn't putting the ball away, and Rafa was getting the ball back. It was just an unbelievable display of heart. Again, there's just not enough superlatives to describe Rafa Nadal or Medvedev for that sake. And, what can you say? What can you say? Even Rafa's own performance leaves him speechless. He doesn't even know what to say about it. And that's kind of how I feel right now. Has anyone noticed how much bigger Nadal's left arm is since the return? Someone is on the gear. Yeah, I mean, his forearms are huge. He looks strong. He looks strong. He's amazing. Bashkar is here. Hey, good morning, Pete. What's happening? Returning back from the court. Can't believe that Rafa went. Ultimate warrior. That's right. Ultimate warrior. He is the ultimate warrior, and he is the GOAT. That's it. He's the GOAT now. You guys got to give it up. His shot selection was choke chop. Well, that was one thing. And again, it's not always a choke. One thing that the McEnroe brothers said was, why is Medvedev going to the drop shot so early and so often in points? And Chris Fowler, I thought, said it pretty well. You know, he's not thinking clearly out there because it's so physical, because it's just, you're just out there with Rafa. And he started to wonder, where can I hit? And he was trying to look for quicker points because it's exhausting. You know, these people play like robots. So we think that they're robots, but they get tired. And one of the things that you do when you're tired is you look for cheap points and you start to hit stupid shots. And I think it was nothing more than that. Just Medvedev going, man, I'm tired. I'm tired out here. Maybe if I get some drop shots, I can bring Rafa in and he won't get there, or I'll be able to pass him, which worked enough to keep trying it. But it was also taken away from him. He definitely went to the drop shot too many times. And Nadal started to read it better and better. And the drop shots were really, really great. Rafa's drop shots were definitely better, and that was one of the difference makers. Rafa saw how far Medvedev played back, and he would get ready to hit that big lefty forehand, and then he'd scoop under it, and he hit a lot of inside-out drop shots that were beautifully played, that would go out to the deuce court, and not only would they be short, but they'd also be skidding out into the doubles alley, so left Medvedev in a very, very tough situation that all Rafa had to do was pass him pretty easily many times. And also Medvedev's backhand volley, we can see, needs a lot of work. He missed a lot of makeable backhand volleys. But, you know, really overall, it wasn't about what players didn't do out there. It's about what both players brought: energy, shot making, heart, drama, plot twist after plot twist, 5-hour, 30-minute match, and Rafa's heart. Rafa's heart is just, you just cannot believe it. What a choke. What a choke by Medvedev. Oh my gosh. All these people with a Medvedev choke. Please, let's keep this positive. Let's keep this. I think all the spotlight should be on Nadal #1, and then also Medvedev played a hell of a match, guys. You don't stay out there that long with Rafa. And every time Rafa, it looked like at the end, you know, it looked like Rafa had some chances to run away with it and win that 5th set easy. And Medvedev refused to just give it to him. He was around to the very last point. Let's give Medvedev a lot of credit. I don't think it was a choke by either player. Certainly there's some tight moments. You know, you could say Nadal choked if you really want to go for it. I mean, Nadal could have won the 2nd set. There was plenty of opportunities that Nadal had to win points in games easier, and he got nervous on points. You don't play for 5 hours and 30 minutes without getting a little nervous. Rafa came out hitting forehand. That's how he did it. He went big, and he didn't have to go home. That's right. What a great champion, and what a great person. Number 21, absolutely. That is well said. What a great champion, and what a great person. You know, Rafa, you've given us so much. And what I loved about that match, is if no one ever heard of Rafael Nadal before, and you're telling somebody that didn't know Rafa, like, you know, he's like the greatest champion. He's the ultimate warrior. He fights maybe harder than anybody in the history of tennis. I've never seen him play before. All you need to do is watch this match. And like, this is basically what he's given us for 20 years, which is, again, giving me goosebumps, almost tearing up here, guys. I mean, this is what Rafa's all about. This is what he's done for 20 years in a row, and this is why he's #1. And don't forget how many, not only the adversity he's faced on the court, but being forced to get off the court with injuries. I mean, he's had multiple injuries to where he's had to leave the sport for several months. You know, Rafa now at 21 majors, not only did he not know if he was going to play here, not only did he think it might not be possible to play at the Australian Open, much less win it, but one of his injuries that he came back from, it really looked like Rafa had lost the magic, that he had lost it. And let me just get this. This is Yvonne. Hey, babe, I'm doing a live stream. Hello? All right. I think I missed her. Anyway, you know, there was one point in Rafa's career when he came back from an injury where he did not win a tournament for 18 months. Do Do you guys remember that? And it looked like for several months, it looked like Rafa was a shell of himself. You know, all the things that Rafa does when he doesn't win, when he doesn't play well, you know, he experienced for several months that his RPMs dropped off on his forehand. His forehand was dropping short. He just didn't seem to come up with the big shots at the big moments like he had done his entire career, you know, and he got over that. This was several years ago. Already when they were talking about just at that time, Roger and Rafa being the GOAT, Novak kind of creeping up, there was 18 months where Rafa didn't win a tournament. Now he has 21 majors. Let's see what else you guys are saying. He had him all the way, kept playing. Way too many drop. Yes, way too many drop shots. I will agree with that. There's way too many drop shots. Organic number one, get 21 and 22 easy. Yeah, 22. I mean, does Rafa ever do it easy? That's another reason why we love Rafa. Does Rafa ever do things the easy way? I'm sure he'd like to do things the easy way, but it's just not in his DNA. Rafa, this is why we love you, because you just bring out the ultimate warrior and you inspire us. I think that's why people love Rafa. He inspires us to be the best version of ourselves. You know, after you watch Rafa play, don't you want to go work out? Don't you want to be a better person? Don't you want to play better tennis? Don't you want to carry yourself like Rafa? I mean, these are all the things I think about when I watch Rafa play. He's just such an inspiring person. And I think it's great that for at least right now, he alone sits as the GOAT at the top of the hill. See what else you're going to say. Med was playing unreal the first two sets. Yes, he did play unreal the first two sets, but it's not like he played bad. I keep seeing all these Medvedev chokes. I think that's crazy. All the stats favor Medvedev. Impressive. And this is really, I think, a great statement, because that's what I thought before the match. When at the beginning of the tournament, after the first round, go watch my live streams. I said Rafa's going to win this tournament because it's just so much of an incentive with Novak being out, and he has the opportunity to get 21. If he can get 21, then he might be able to go to the French Open, get 22, and he's alone as the GOAT. I don't care how much he says he doesn't really care about GOAT. You know he does care about GOAT. That's just the way Rafa likes to talk, always very humble, always downplaying things. So I thought he was going to win. But then the more I watched the tournament and watched it go on, and I'm watching how Medvedev plays, I'm thinking, you know, in the finals, Medvedev versus Nadal, let's take a look at every matchup. Let's go right to the serve. Okay, most likely Medvedev's going to get more free points. I think at one point I saw a stat, I'm not sure how it ended. I think it was like 15 aces to 1, you know, so Medvedev is going to get more free points. Then I'm thinking, okay, let's take a look at the rallies. When they're rallying, they both like to be consistent, hang from the baseline, but Medvedev has the ability to flatten out the ball more than Nadal. And I don't think the Nadal big, heavy forehand is going to bother Medvedev. I think Medvedev's going to be able to flatten that backhand out down the line. That's precisely what happened the first set. Then I'm thinking movement-wise. Well, ordinarily you'd think, okay, who can move better than Nadal or Djokovic? Now Nadal also in this tournament, another thing that's amazing is he is not running for every single ball. He's running for almost every single ball, but he at 35 is picking some very smart times in a match where he's like, you know, I'm going to let that go because I got to be careful with everything I've been through physically, especially with his foot. So you're going, okay, the movement, the advantage is there with Medvedev. So where is the advantage? At the net. Okay, so Rafa's going to have to do things in this match that takes him out of his comfort zone. And that's exactly how he fought his way back in the match. He started to change things up. I thought one of the things that could be an advantage, and he started to use it a lot, was the slice backhand. The slice backhand low to the big 6 foot Medvedev. It was effective for a while, but Medvedev's such a great adapter. It wasn't effective the entire match. He just couldn't get away with like, okay, now I'm just going to chip the backhand low. He had to do everything. So the chip backhand was a little bit of a factor. The coming to the net a little more than usual was a little bit of a factor. Going to hit the drop shot to bring the Medvedev, who likes to stand way back, that started to work. And then as Medvedev got more tired, Rafa realized this and started to go back to his serve +1 plays. And he started to get, even though he didn't have a ton of aces, as the match went on, he did start to get a lot of free points on his serve as well. So, him beefing up that first serve, Nadal beefing up that first serve did work against Medvedev, because even though there weren't a ton of aces off Rafa's racket, there were a lot of free points, which is not easy to do. It's not easy to serve a ball into Medvedev and see it not come back. So that did work. Medvedev has no weakness. He has no weakness except for he did show some weakness, I thought, on the backhand volley. I thought Rafa was very smart the way, you notice most time when he did the drop shade, he did it inside out to Medvedev's forehand and would bring Medvedev hustling inside the service box, a little bit sometimes almost out in the doubles alley. Now he's got to hustle to cover, and he wasn't able to reach a lot of backhand volleys and do anything with it. He could reach it because he's so long, but he couldn't put it away. So he either wouldn't put it away and then Nadal would pass him next shot, or he would just miss some. He'd flub some. So that is probably one of the few weaknesses that, technically he can improve, is he can get better at the backhand volley. Forehand volley wasn't bad, but the backhand volley let him down tonight. Where does this rank with Rafa matches for me? It's one of the best ever. It's one of the best matches I've ever played in tennis. The importance of it, the length of time, 5 hours, 30 minutes. Rafa, again, at the celebration, the trophy presentation, sitting down. He gave everything he had in this match. Medvedev forced him to the absolute edge of exhaustion. And Medvedev, to me, every bit as tough mentally as Djokovic, Rafa, and Federer. Very little separating these two great players. Just like Rafa said, I thought he said it all in one line. It was an honor to share the court with you, because he knows that throughout his career, Medvedev is one of the few players he's ever played that brings out the very best in him. He knows that Medvedev is that guy that is going to bring out the best in the GOATs. There's matches where Rafa's won and he's played all kinds of players. There's been all kinds of close matches, but I don't think he feels when he goes on the court, besides the other GOATs, besides the other two GOATs, there's not many of them, that they are his mental equal. I think like when he played Shapovalov and won, he's like, yes, this is a dogfight. This is an amazing match. Damn, that Shapovalov's a good player, but I'm mentally tougher than he is, and I know that. I think he can think that about almost anybody that he's played, any tough match he's played in his whole life. I think Rafa in the tough moments can go, but I'm just mentally stronger, so I will find a way to win. Medvedev brings that doubt out in you. That's why when he was serving for it the first time at 5-4, 30-15, he double faulted, and then he had a couple of nervous shots, and he gave it right back. And I thought, uh-oh, now Medvedev might come back and win this match. Just phenomenal, phenomenal tennis. Medvedev has big holes. He can't follow up the forehand and finish at the net. I love how us as people watching the tennis can say he has big holes. Medvedev doesn't have big holes, guys. There's very few spots on the court that Medvedev can't deal with stuff. Don't cry, buddy. It's beautiful, but don't cry. Thank you. I didn't cry, Shaman. But I mean, it was touching. It was Rafa brings out the emotions in you. There's very few players that when you watch them, it goes beyond sport. It goes beyond tennis. I think when Rafa plays these types of matches, you just want everybody who has never watched tennis to watch it and show them this is why tennis is the best sport in the world. These 5 setters. Guys, I hope the tour never, there's been talks, we got to make tennis faster. We got to make the Grand Slams 2 out of 3 sets. There's even been talks of making sets 4 games, first to 4 games, to speed it up. No, this is what tennis is about. Today is what tennis is about. Ultimate warrior spirit, going to the 5th set, 2 players taking it out on each other each and every point. This is what it's about. As McEnroe said, John McEnroe said, which I thought was very interesting, and I knew exactly what he's talking about. He goes, this is an amazing match to watch. It's almost painful to watch because you know how much both players are taking it out on each other. You know how physical it is out there. You know how much they're struggling. One of Rafa's most famous lines he said throughout his career is, if you want to be great, you've got to be willing to suffer. And again, just like I've been saying this live stream many times, all you have to do is watch this one match, and you can point to somebody who's never watched Rafa and say, this is this guy's career. This is what he's done his entire career. And again, he had to suffer to win. He had to suffer to win out there. I don't know how these guys do it. I really honestly don't know how they do it physically and mentally. It is astonishing. This is extremely comparable to Roger's 2017 AO win, the injuries, the time off, the sudden comeback, and the 5-set final. Yeah. Again, Roger, I think that's very true. You know, I'm not even sure Roger played a warm-up event. I think Roger just went right into the Australian Open, just wanted to get back on the tour, and just caught fire and got all the way to the finals and won after being off for so long, and won it at about Rafa's age. I think he won at 35, going on 36 years old. He might have even been 36 years old. So you're right. I think it is very, very close to what he did, and he had to beat Rafa, and that was an amazing 5-set match. Patrick McEnroe jinxed it. You can't say it's over with Rafa on the other side. Yeah, exactly. I think that's true. I mean, I don't know if he jinxed it, but it certainly was. It just goes to show how unbelievable the match was, because Patrick McEnroe certainly knows what Rafa's been capable of his whole life. He knows the respect. I'm sure Patrick has the ultimate respect and never would say it's really over. But when you're watching Medvedev the way he plays, and he's up 2 sets, and it's 35-year-old Rafa, you can't blame Patrick for saying, okay, it's all but over now. But again, just when you think they can't surprise you, they come up with more amazing stuff, these GOATs. Viva Mallorca, viva Nadal. Yes, amazing, guys, amazing. Even though he is better than a few years ago, Medvedev is still too reckless and carefree with his second serve. Threw in some sets, threw in some double faults, hit too many shots, but the players always bring this out in you. You know, we always look for, how can you play that dumb drop shot? Rafa's making you play that dumb drop shot. He's tired. He's starting to not. I think Chris Fowler, it's interesting. Chris Fowler was the one non-tennis player up in the deck. And they're talking about Medvedev's shot selection with going to the drop shot too much. And Chris Fowler saying, yeah, but don't you think Medvedev's not thinking clearly because he's so tired? Don't you think this has something to do with just being exhausted? And I think he nailed it. I think Medvedev started to get tired. And it's not even that you're losing your mind. It's that you're thinking, okay, this Rafa's freaking tough. I don't want to be out there another 20, 30 ball rally. I don't want to be in another 10-minute game. How many 10-minute games do they play tonight? I don't want to be out there for 10 minutes. I'm going to hit this drop shot and just hope that Rafa can't get to it, or hope he hits a shot I can pass him on. I think that's why he hit too many drop shots, because he just did not want to go through the pain at certain points in the match. That's what I think. Medvedev also showed poor body language to keep Rafa engaged. Yes, his body language is a little more negative than Rafa. And so I guess you can go but one thing that's kind of interesting is every player is unique. And one thing that's unique about Medvedev is it seems like when he gets grumpy, when he gets angry, when he gets negative, sometimes he can use that anger. He just gets real cagey, real kind of squirrely, as Brad Gilbert calls him, the skinny villain. He uses that even when he looks negative, looks down and out. He always just can summon up more big serves, more big backhands, more unbelievable gets. And it's not like he didn't keep doing it, guys. It's not like, oh, well, he just folded like a paper bag at some point and rolled over for Rafa. The score was 7-5 in the fifth set. So it's not like, even though Medvedev showed some signs of weakness, that it totally took him out of the match. Make no mistake about it. It went till the very end. No one choked this away. It was just an all-out war. Rafa couldn't get his first serve in against Medvedev. Should have won more points on his second serve. Man, Rush, why don't you go out there and play Rafa if you know how to beat him? Ronaldo is better than Messi, and Rafa is better than Novak. I mean, I'm not saying he's better than Novak. I'm just saying right now he's got 21, so let's give him his just deserves. He's the GOAT, because why? The numbers don't lie. He's got 21 Grand Slam titles, and no one else does. And the way that he won tonight was won in greatest of all time fashion. It was won in one of the best performances of Rafael Nadal's life at 35, putting on this type of show. How can you? He's the GOAT. Do you think it is now a two-horse race for GOAT? I really hope Roger can somehow win Wimbledon. I do think it's a two-GOAT race, and it's certainly very, very unknown now. It's so up in the air. Things can change so quickly. Now we're thinking, okay, well, now Rafa is a shoo-in for the French Open. This is not a computer game. These are not robots. Rafa might not even play the French Open. I mean, did you see how much running he had to do tonight? There's nothing that says that Rafa might re-injure his foot with all that he's going through and all he's going to have to continue to go through physically to win matches. There's no easy matches out there. He could hurt his foot, and Novak could decide to get vaccinated and play and win the French Open. And now they're 21-21. That could easily happen. Also, Novak could continue to not get vaccinated and not be allowed to play matches, because I think that's what's going to happen, whether you agree with it or don't agree with it. One thing I've been saying, there's a song called I Fight Authority, and authority always wins. And that is what authority is showing Novak right now. It's like, you can have your opinion, but look, if you don't get vaccinated, you're not going to come play. And so that's the situation Novak is in, for good or for worse. And so we don't know how that's going to go. We don't even know how mentally Novak can handle. That must have just been devastating to get the medical exemption show up, and then they act like, what are you doing here? You're going to have to go home. And just to be treated he was. And people even booing Medvedev when Medvedev say he drew inspiration from Novak when he was down 2 sets against FAA. He said, I thought, what would Novak do? And the crowd booed. So, mentally, how can Novak handle this, even if he can get back on the tour? That's a big question mark. There's so many question marks on how this is going to go. But for right now, today, that's all we know. Like they say, tomorrow's promised to nobody. Today, Rafa is the GOAT. That's all I know. That's the only thing I know right now is Rafa Nadal is the GOAT. He stands alone at the mountaintop. Essentially, fighting is habitualized for Rafa. Yeah, it's like he can't help but fight. That's how amazing he is. This was by no means an easy win. He played against some great upcoming players and beat them. Then he had Medvedev in the finals. That's not an easy opponent. The match was amazing in every way. That's right, Shaman. And that's what I said, too. After the first round, I thought, man, Rafa looks good. He looks hungry. His movement looks awesome. I'm going to pick him to win the tournament. That's what I said after the first round. Go look it up. But I also I started looking at his draw, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of names on that side of the draw, even with Novak not being there. If Rafa wins this tournament, he's going to have to play outstanding, and that's exactly what he did. Ali says, simply the greatest of all time. I'm so happy and lost a few years of my life. Yes, Ali, it was an unbelievable match. It was an unbelievable match. Medvedev lost in the third set when he was all over Nadal, but did idiotic shots to lose badly. Yeah, again, okay, I get it. I consider this a good loss for Medvedev. He will be even more formidable in the future in Grand Slams with this experience. He showed why he is deserving of number 2. Absolutely, for sure. I'd find it hard to believe that Medvedev will not win more Grand Slams, will not continue to be an ultimate nightmare for opponents to play, will not continue to improve. But one thing that is unknown is the upcoming season in the short term. We're going to the clay. Medvedev last year was out there literally saying in a match to his coach, default me. I hate this stuff. I hate clay. So he hasn't, you're not really picking him to win the French. Wimbledon, he hasn't really shown us that he's close. So, his next shot is almost at the US Open, and a lot can happen before then. He could get in. There's no guarantees that Medvedev is going to start to win a lot of Grand Slams. And, if you had to bet, will he win the next two either of the next two? Probably not. What's the saying? Fatigue makes cowards of us all. Yeah, except for Rafa. Did Nadal properly thank politician Minister Karen Andrews for the win, or did he forget? Okay, great. That's exactly what we need to talk about right now when Rafa just did what he did. Come on. I'm going to give that anything. It is known. Novak takes 4 more Grand Slams. It is so known. He's got to get on the court first. Rafa showed it's sometimes less about this is absolutely true. Rafa showed it's sometimes less about forehands, backhands, more about you're willing to fight and leave it out there inspiring. Yes, yes. More comments like this, please. Please, guys, if you're going by numbers, Novak has got it all over everyone. I disagree because everybody's camp is going to be able to point to numbers and all 3 of them have such gaudy numbers. But history is going to remember the Grand Slams. They're going to remember the Grand Slams. They're especially going to remember this performance. If this ends up being Rafa's last major and somehow Novak and Roger don't win another one, this was such an epic way to end it all. I don't think this is the end for Rafa, but I'm just saying if it is, that people will remember this. Oh, that's the match that made him the GOAT, down 2 sets, fighting back, winning against somebody that's younger. On paper, lots of the shots, when you look at the matchups, kind of favor Medvedev. Winning the Australian Open that has been a thorn in his side since 2009, and he wins it. Another 5-hour-plus match. He's sitting there at the championship ceremony, just gutted. That memory will also keep him in people's minds and hearts. I think the GOAT. I think he walks away the GOAT if we end it all today. And we don't know what's going to happen in the future. So that's all I'm really thinking about right now is where we are right now. And right now, for today, he is the greatest tennis player in the history of tennis. Rafa is the one player in tennis history who'd be willing to play a match to the death. I totally agree. That sums it up. He showed us today. I mean, wow. What more can you do out on a tennis court? Nothing. Let's see what else you guys are going to say. Then I'm going to go. We'll put Any Pug Tennis up. Any Pug Tennis has been around for a lot of our live streams. What an amazing, incredible Rafa's serve as well, below what he has done in the past, and still manages to win against a great returner. It's insane. That's very, very true. And what was interesting is as the match went on, if you noticed, if you really watched, the aces weren't there, but the free points on serve started to become more and more as the match went on, because I think Medvedev got a little tired. He was unable to bring a good number of serves back into the court, more than I was expecting. Rafa got more free points off of his serve than I was expecting. Okay, this is great. Medvedev saying boring a few times in the speech showed the type of person he is. Francisco, first of all, I like Medvedev, and also, yeah, it's that type of person he is honest. As I was watching that woman go on and on and on in the ceremony, as she was complimenting Medvedev, by the way, I did think, you know what? You don't get this. Why are you talking this long? Why are you summarizing everything that they're going to say when they get up there anyway? No one needs to hear from you right now. She took a little. If there was anybody who killed the momentum in the match and of the experience of the Australian Open, it was that woman, the Australian chair of tennis or whatever her thing. She talked way too long, and no one really wanted to listen to her. And Medvedev called it like he was feeling like, we're exhausted. You're not adding anything to this experience for anybody but yourself. They should either cut those people out, or they should tell them, look, when you come on up, you got 20 seconds. You got 20 seconds to say whatever you want to say. Anything over 20, 30 seconds, it's time to start taking the hook and carrying you off. And so Medvedev saying boring, he said exactly what I was saying. I kept going, oh my God, how long is this woman going to talk? Can we just get Rafa and Medvedev up there? I want to hear what they have to say. I think she took all the energy out of that presentation. So, yeah, that's my feeling. Where do you rank this on the victory of his career? I mean, it's right there at the top. This victory is right there at the top. It puts him at GOAT, one of the greatest comebacks of all time, maybe his greatest comeback of all time. It's like a tie for all his other matches. Not just his fighting mentality. He simply just made more balls, slice, drop shot. Yeah, I mean, at the end, he had to show more variety, and he had to get out of his comfort zone more. Both men had to get out of their comfort zone, but Rafa even more so than Medvedev to win points. Love Nadal. Okay. Let's see here, guys. I think that's about it. Thank you. Yeah, she was a killjoy. Thank you. Exactly, she was. You know who else is being a killjoy? This guy right here. I don't know if you can hear him off camera, but he's sitting here going, Pete, it's time for my walk. It's time for you to end this live stream. Okay, enough about Rafa. He's the greatest. We get it. Take me for a walk. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. B2, I want you to thank the people for an amazing Australian Open. Guys, give B2 a thank. Give B2 a like. If you like my buddy B2 as being my ultimate sidekick warrior. Congratulations, Rafa. Great fight, Medvedev. And I love tennis. See you guys.